morning, boys and girls. Good morning, boys and girls. It's Miss Lisa. Welcome back to my table of art. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing fine. I know I'm doing well, and I miss you all very much, and I hope to be with you again very soon. Today I'd like to talk to you about a special little project we're going to be doing, which is going to be focusing a bit on our lines, patterns, and some shapes. We're going to be making a carp streamer. This is a carp streamer. They're also known as konobori, or carp streamers, and they're traditionally flown in Japan to celebrate Children's Day, which is on May 5th. They're windsocks, and they're usually made of fabric and sometimes paper to look like a type of fish called a carp. If you notice, we have fins, eyes, and even their little tails flying in the air. Carp are chosen because of their energy. There's lots of energy in a carp. And when these blow in the wind, it gives off a lot of energy. Traditionally, they were made in specific colors and sizes to symbolize different meanings. But today, they're used to represent all children and can be found in many different colors and sizes. Today, we are going to use them to practice making our lines, creating patterns, and making a shape into a form, which is our carp streamer. So if you're ready, how about we get started? I'm going to put this aside for now. I'm going to send all of you a large piece of white paper. This is where we're going to draw all our lines and our patterns. And we're going to use crayons. So you're going to need your crayons today. I'm also going to be sending you samples of some patterns and some lines and some designs. You can use it or you don't. You could create your own. And don't worry, whatever you make is going to be beautiful. I'm also going to be sending you a piece of string to hang our carp, a piece of construction paper, all different colors so you can choose, and a little piece of white paper. We're going to use the colored paper to create the fins and the eyes. And this is also going to be part of the eyes. And I'm going to be sending you some streamers to make the tail of the carp. All different colors. And again, you can choose whichever you'd like. Okay? You're going to need your crayons and you're going to need watercolor paint because we're going to be doing that old-fashioned crayon resist technique where we draw our lines with our crayon and then we color over it with our watercolor. And the crayon resists and the pattern shows right through the watercolor. I made a rainbow in mine. I started with my purple and I ended with my red. Right across the carp. You could do one color, you could do multicolor, you could do any color. Okay? So, give me 1 second and we're going to get started. So, I'm going to bring you down to my table so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry about my throat, I'm not feeling great. And I need my little helping hand. Here's my helping hand. Bring down the camera. Come on down to my table. Okay, so you should be able to see my table now. Am I right? Yes, from one end to the other. And I'm going to start with my crayons. I'm going to decide what colors I want to use. I'm going to use a bunch of different colors because so long as I repeat the lines and shapes, I'll be creating a pattern. So I think I'll start with this blue crayon and I'm going to make something very basic, a straight line. From the top of my paper right down to the bottom. There's one line. I'm going to make another line. I'm pressing hard because the harder you press, the better the crayon resist technique shines through on when I apply the watercolor. These are just straight up and down lines, which we call our vertical lines. Straight up and down. I'm going to throw in a little red now. And I'm going to add a curvy line. Oh, this is actually orange. Look at how I'm curving my line. I'm creating a curvy line. Curvy, curvy, curvy. curvy, 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 right to the end. And I think I'm going to add one at this end as well. I could stop here because I've created a pattern. Curvy, straight, curvy, straight, curvy. Things that repeat. And this is repeating. But I could also add some shapes. So maybe I will add different lines or little shapes in between my lines. So how about I add some circles? Can you see that yellow circle? If not, I'm going to hold it up closer. That's a yellow circle. I'm going to add the yellow circle. Not on every curvy line. I think I'll do every other curvy line. And when this is painted over, it's going to be really pretty. It may not show up really bright here, but it will show up bright when we apply the watercolor. It's looking really nice. It's a nice pattern. Use whatever colors you want and try to press hard if you can with the crayon. And you know what? Your shapes, your lines, they don't even have to be so neat and uniform. You can make them any way you want. You could actually scribble using lines. Zigzag lines, curvy lines, looping lines, vertical lines, horizontal lines, because it'll just make it very interesting when you paint over it. I think I'm going to stop here and I'm going to start applying my watercolor paint. I have a board here that I like to use so I don't actually paint right on my desk. See how I covered my desk with that? So I'm going to use that. And I got to get my watercolor paints out with a little water and start doing some painting. Hang on. There's my water. And I think I might do a multicolored thing again because I really like the multicolors. But I think I'm going to start with red. Let's see how far I get. So I'm painting right over my, I'm going to paint right over my crayons on the paper. It's coming out pretty. See how that yellow's shining through with the crayon resist? It shines right through. Now your paper's going to curl because it's getting wet, but that's okay. When it dries, we'll be all right. If you want, you can tape your paper down to the table, which will prevent it from curling more than it is. It'll still curl a little bit, puff up a little bit, but it won't be as curling as it is right now. But we're going to curl the paper to create our carp anyway, our carp streamer. See how the water's getting on my extra board? Keeps my table clean. I like to keep the table clean. I'm going to switch maybe over to yellow now, using the colors that are in my design. I love watercolor. It glides on so nice. It's such a beautiful effect. Here we go. Summer's coming, guys. Are you all excited about summer coming? Yeah, you can hang these up right outside your door, and whatever wind we have will blow through the cylinder shape of the carp, and it will create that energy that the carps have. It would be beautiful. Next, I'm going to go over to blue. Ooh, I use a lot of my blue. I'm running out of blue. Look at that, there's almost nothing in there. Nope, just enough though. Look at how nice that color is. Nice and rich. Just add a little water and you got some blue. You just take your time and enjoy the painting process. I love it. This is like very therapeutic, I think. Just brushing along, no specific order, whatever fancies you, whatever you decide. Let the colors bleed together. Let some be darker in some areas, lighter in others. The more imperfections, the better. It's more interesting. I'm going to go back to the red. Look at that, dark. Now the water's really waking up the color. Get nice and rich. Oh, did you notice that this is red, blue, and yellow? Do you remember what those colors are? If you said our primary colors, you are right. These are the colors that create all the other colors in the rainbow. Red, blue, and yellow. Been a while since we practiced our colors. I guess I can't wait till we're together again. I really can't. Move this down a little bit. Now we're going to go into yellow again. See the difference in the yellow and the red? Once the water wakes these colors up, they're so much more vibrant. And I like the difference. Makes it more interesting. Don't be afraid to let the colors blend into each other. It creates a new color. What do you think yellow and red together create? Mixing them in, blending, becomes orange. And how about the blue and red? What happens when I mix those or they blend together? What color do you think we get with red and blue? Did you say orange? You are right. Oh, and it's mixing with the blue on this side, and we're getting what color? Blue and yellow? Green. Yeah, look at that. Pretty magical, isn't it? Love it. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Just going to wake this up a little bit more. Oh, look at that richness. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to let our carp dry because we don't want to rush it. So while that's drying, we can work on our features for our, look how beautiful that came out. So let's put this aside and let it dry. And the next part is we want to create our fins and our eyes. Now the carps have really big eyes, so then you can do one of two things. If I fold a little piece of my paper over and I take my scissor, I could just cut a nice big circle for the first part of the eye. We need two eyes. I folded it over. So now I have two. Notice these are not perfect circles, and they don't have to be. Don't worry about it. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this white and I'm going to make a smaller circle to fit in here. So I'm going to trace it to make sure it is smaller. Just to get an idea. Not being perfect, I just want to get an idea. And I'm going to cut within that white circle. Because I just want a little bit of the red sticking out behind the white circle. Not a perfect circle at all, and I don't care. See that? You can see how imperfect my circles are. Again, makes everything all the more interesting. And instead of cutting out a black circle, I'm just going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to color the circle in. And you could also use a crayon because this Sharpie is not very good. It's a little dried out. So here we go. This is better. Not much better, but better. You could use a crayon, anything that's black, to create the black part of the carp's eye. That's one eye. And I'm going to do the same thing on this other eye. And I'm going to make the big circle right about here. Again, I'm not worrying about being perfect. Imperfections make it even more perfect and more interesting and adds a lot of character to our projects. Okay, so now I got my two eyes. I need to glue them together. I'm just going to use a glue stick. Boom, there's number one. Boom, there's number two. And there we have our eyes. Now I'm going to use the red construction paper to draw the fins. Now on top of my carp, oops, I dropped that. On top of my carp, there's a big fin. See this one here? So it really looks just like a mountain. So I'm going to draw like a long mountain on my paper. Up and then down. Do you see what I drew here? I'm going to make it a little darker in case you can't. And then I'm just going to take a crayon, preferably a white crayon, only because it'll stand out a little bit more than if I used a different color crayon. And I'm going to just create some lines that are giving texture to this fin. Straight lines, curved lines, diagonal lines. Look at how I did that. Not straight up and down. I'm going to do it on both sides once I cut this out. So, hold on. Whoopsie. Get off of there. Cut this shape out. And do the same thing on the other side. Just adding that texture to the fin. Again, it's not perfect and I don't care. I just want to add some texture. Then on the sides, we have two fins as well. Kind of just looks like a booty. Little booty. Oops. See, like a little booty here and a little booty here. So I'm going to make a fold of my paper so I can make both of them at the same time. And I'm going to draw just like a little booty. Oops, sorry, piece of hair. I'm going to add some, my goodness. Add some texture to these fins. And cut them out at the same time. Use my crayon just to add a little texture. Both sides. Just very simple. Not worrying about being perfect. Adding a little lines to create that texture in the fins. Okay, so now we have all the parts of our fish. The last part we're going to need is our streamers. We're going to use about 4 of these to create the tail. So I'll cut 4 and you'll get 4 when I send them to you today or tomorrow. There's 2, 3, and these will fly in the air when the wind goes through your carp streamer, and that'll look really pretty. Oh, my throat is really bad. Okay, I think the allergies are getting to me. All right, so now I think we might be ready to put our carp streamer together. So I'm going to check on the watercolor, which dries really fast. It still feels a little damp, but we're okay to work with this right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it upside down, and we want to roll it into the shape of the streamer. So we're going to roll just to kind of get it prepared. It's still a little damp. Don't rush it like I am. I'm only doing this so we can get this done for you. Okay, so you want to roll it so that they kind of are going to meet. But before I glue anything down, there we go. Okay, I'm going to put a strip of glue right here, and this is going to be see-through glue, so you're not going to be able to see it. But I'm going right across the edge of the paper because my white glue, I don't know what happened to it. It's dried out on me. Here we go, right across. Close this up so this doesn't dry. Roll this over. Let these two, yeah, when it's damp, it's harder to roll or control. So make sure you dry it. Make sure this is dry before you try this. And then you could actually press down. And while this is being held in place, I'm going to take my scissor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the end here almost on a V, but a curved V. Yeah, even though scissors not cutting because it's still wet. Okay, don't rush it. This time, make sure you don't rush it like I am. See, I just cut out a little curve here. The glue is sticking really nice. We have the edge all ready for our fish to go. And when this is done sticking, then this is going to wind up more on the bottom end of our fish, which is good. Okay. There we go. So now we have the indent at the end. The other end is the same. This is the bottom. It's all glued. And what I need you to do is, inside here, we're going to put another stream of glue because we want to put our streamers there. So I'm going to make one line across, and I'm going to place my streamers right in here. There's one. There's one. Now, you can go across here on the bottom, or I like to space them where I have some on the top and some on the bottom. So I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to make a line of glue on the bottom, and these stick really easy. They take to the glue immediately. Now we'll put one here and another one here. Now we have 4 streamers on the tail of our fish that are going to fly in the wind. Okay, so just give them time to adhere. They look good, looking good, very pretty. Okay, now let's get to our face. Now what we're going to need to do is you're going to need a hole puncher because you need to have these flying in the air somehow. So we're going to connect a string. So I'm going to put a hole on both sides of the face, exactly across from each other. Okay? See my hole here, and I have one at the other side. I'm going to take my string, and I'm going to string it right through my windsock or my carp streamer. We're using yarn. Straight through. It went straight through the body. And then I'm going to tie them together at the end. Okay, so that part's done. We've got the tail done and we've got the string done. So now we know the shape of our carp. So my eyes, we're pretty much going to put exactly the opposite side, and we're going to glue them on as well. With this, I'm going to use my glue stick because that's easier to work with the eyes. They'll stick right away. Decide where you want the black part of your eye to go. And there's one eye. It's cute, isn't it? And here is the other eye on the other side of his face. Okay, so we're getting started with his features, starting to look really cute. Now we have our fins. That's just going to add the finishing touch to our carp. We have the one that goes right on top. Now this one we're going to need liquid glue. And you're going to have to hold it for a little bit. Make a nice line right between their eyes, going straight back. Place it right on top of the glue and just hold it for a second or two. The paper's lightweight, so it won't be too long. See that? It might still fall, but I'm just showing you how quick it is to dry. And then I'm going to add the fins. Little glue right on the edge here. And they go backwards. One on each side. I should have used the glue stick for this because the liquid glue makes it slide down because it's on the side of the fish. So I'm going to use the glue stick for the other one. Okay, see where I did that? Look how nice that looks. Okay, and guess what? Your carp streamer is done. And I think this is really, really beautiful. So remember, guys, let me bring you up so I can talk to you. Ta-da! Okay, so what's important today? We're working on our lines. My glue stick fell. Look at the lines we created. Straight and curvy lines. We have zigzag lines, dash lines, all kinds of lines. Or you can just take a line and scribble across your paper. But remember to press hard so that the crayon resist technique really shines through. I think your carp is absolutely beautiful. I hope you really like this project. Remember, this is in honor of Children's Day in Japan, May 5th. I know it's past, but it's still a beautiful project. It's a fun project. And it's a useful project. You'll know when it's a windy day if you put it outside. It'll start out like this, and then the wind will grab it, and your carp tail will be floating and flying and creating all kinds of energy. Oops, my fin fell. I moved it too fast. But there it goes. Popped right back up. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Hope you learned a little bit about Japan's holiday, Children's Day. What a better day to celebrate than children. And I guess I shall see you next week. And I hope I feel a little bit better because right now I don't feel so great. All right, guys. You have a wonderful day. You have a wonderful art day. And I'll see you soon. This is Miss Lisa saying ciao for now from my table of art. Bye, guys.